We'll start up here in the front. It does have one 12-volt battery on the front of the trailer. It also has a battery disconnect. It has a hookup light for hooking up at nighttime. We have the two 20-pound propane cylinders. The arrow's pointed towards this one over here, showing you that it's red on the inside. As soon as we would crank it open, turns green, indicating that the bottle it's pointed to has gas in it. As soon as it would go empty, it's going to turn red inside the eye where the green is. All you have to do then is flip it over to that side there, work off that bottle while you're taking this to the town to have it refilled. We do have a hookup light for hooking up at nighttime, and an up and down button for running the jack up or down. And there is a manual way to come in through the top that will manually crank that jack up or down. For any reason, it won't go on its own. There is a manual way to crank it. On your battery cover, or bottle cover, it does have the two tabs underneath with a bungee cord underneath it that goes underneath the metal rack that holds it in place. But it also has a quick disconnect up on top so that you don't have to take the cover off every time to turn your propane on and off. We'll set that right back over the top of that for now. Part of the hitch package is on the front of the trailer is already on. The saddles and the sway plate is mounted to the side. In the very front compartment up here in the front is your water fill compartment. Each one of your lights in the front compartment are motion sensors, so they come on when you open the doors. But we also have a 110 outlet over here on this side that is GFI protected by the outlet in the bathroom. You have your park cable hook up at the top, satellite hook up right below that. The water connection for the city water is to the left-hand side. Anytime you hook onto the water connection, you need to have a pressure regulator already on the hose that cuts the water pressure down between 41 and 45 pounds of pressure. Well, to the right of it is your battery disconnect. Since it has a 12-volt refrigerator, LP detector, carbon monoxide detector, and a power booster for the TV antenna, the 12-volt disconnect keeps it from drawing your battery down when the trailer's not in use. Does have an outside shower, hot and cold running water to this side over here. The same hose that runs the outside shower will do your port spray on the other side of the trailer. There is a hole in the bottom compartment so you can bring your water hoses up, or your park cable or satellite cables up through the bottom, so that you can leave the big door shut. The next connection back is your water fill. Filling your freshwater tank. Fills up here at the top, drains right behind the front balance jack. While we're down here, each one of the balance jacks has this push button on the other side to operate them, but there is a manual way that you can crank them up or down. For any reason the button won't work, the motors won't go up or down, there is a manual way to crank the stabilizer jacks down too. Lug nuts on the trailer has been torqued at 100 foot-pounds. That's what's recommended on the side. The tires are air pressure, which is 65 pounds on the side of the tire cold. They also have the nitro gas in instead of having air in them. But if you're out on the road and one would happen to come low on you, you can put air in on top of it. But if you want the pure nitro fill, you have to take it back to like a plastic tire or a car dealership. Have them suck the air that you put in back out, put gas back into them. 30 amp service cord goes onto the trailer, makes a quarter of a turn, tighten up the black knob. The cord is 25 to 30 foot long. Outside of the furnace is next. It's going to suck cold air to the top, hot air out the bottom. I always suggest putting a mud dauber screen over the outside of the furnace, for the simple fact the mud dauber screen is less than 15 bucks. It's $145 an hour for every hour that we have to take the furnace out to clean the mud daubers out of it. So that is a very wise investment. On your termination valve here in the back, the 3-inch valve at the top is for your toilet water. The 2-inch valve right to the left side of it is for your kitchen sink, bathroom sink, and shower water. It does have a spare tire on the back. It's been aired at the pressure. It's not been torqued on. It's been put on with a wrench. It is also prepped for a backup camera up top. And it is also prepped for a ladder off on the right hand side. I have a theory on the roofs. The roof is the most important thing on the trailer. Anything happens to the roof up on top, we'll start showing on the four corners inside or out. Doesn't hurt to look at the roof every 90 days. You don't have to seal the roof every 90 days, but it don't hurt to look at it, make sure there's no damage to the top. The quicker you can fix damage on the roof, the better off you are. The next one over is the outside of the hot water heater. Hot water heater works two ways, 110 and propane. The 110 switch is in the lower left-hand corner on the outside. Your gas switch is going to be on your monitor panel on the inside. You'll always want to make sure that you have water coming out of the pop-off valve before you turn it on electric or gas. Also has an anode rod for draining the hot water heater in between trips and for winterizing and dewinterizing. An anode rod draws all the impurities out of the water to that rod, heats up that rod, instead of eating up the inside of the tank. Anytime the steel rod in the center is showing, it's time to replace it. They're usually good for 2 years or about 10,000 gallons of water. We come over to this side, you do have your port spray hookup that you can use the same hose for your outside shower in the front compartment on the outdoor side. Bring it back over here, but you only have cold water on this side. The connection right down below it is for while you're dumping your holding tanks. Once you have all the nasties out of the black tank, you can water hose and regulator to this side over here. Has a little aerator on the inside of the tank that spins around, helps clean more of the debris out of the inside. Your electric switch is down below there to extend and retract your jacks. There's one in the back for the back jacks, there's one in the front for the front. It also has a quick disconnect gas line back here in the back, so that if you wanted to use a fish fryer or a barbecue pit that was gas, it works off the 2 propane bottles on the front of the trailer. 2 outside speakers. I'll show you more about that. We get the stereo to the inside, but there is also a park cable or antenna hookup on this side over here, so that you can watch TV and watch the ball game underneath the canopy. A 110 plug-in to plug it into. That is GFI protected by the outlet in the bathroom. Another switch up here in the front to extend and retract the balance jacks in the front. In this compartment is the rest of your hitch package. We do have 2 crank handles. The brass colored handle will do the balancing jacks front and back of the trailer. The little S-curved handle does your tongue jack on the front. Both compartment lights are motion sensors, so when you open the compartment door, they come on. Once the trailer's on site, level side to side, front to back, stabilizer jacks are down. The next thing is to do the proper fit of the steps. So what we're going to do is here, we're going to open the door fully extended. On the steps, little blue handle on the left hand side pulls the steps loose from the door frame. It really needs to sit flat in the threshold. Little push button underneath each one of the legs. 15 to 18 slots in the bottom of the legs for adjustment. The main thing on the steps is once it comes out and lays down, it has to lay flat in the threshold so that the door fits over the top of it properly. To achieve that, you can use the push buttons underneath and adjust the legs. The main thing is it has to lay flat up here. As we come into the trailer, it does have a working fire extinguisher on the left-hand side. We're going to go up to the monitor panel. We're going to check the battery level. Shows you the battery level is fully charged. To get an accurate reading on the battery, you actually need to have the 110 line unplugged from the trailer and then test your battery. Freshwater tank showing that it's empty. As it fills up, it'll show 1/3, 2/3 full. Same way with your black tank for your toilet water. And your gray tank 1 water will show 1/3, 2/3 full. Does not have the 3rd tank in it. The first red button on the left-hand side turns the water pump on between the freshwater tank and the faucets. The second red button turns the hot water heater on gas. Turn it on, the little red light up right above it, the door side fault light will come on. It'll stay on for about a minute. Once that little red light goes off, the hot water heater goes through 2 lighting processes to light on gas. For any reason it does not light on gas, that little red light will come back on. First black switch to the right. First one turns your center row of lights on in the trailer. Second one turns your awning lights on underneath the awning, and then we'll extend the awning out. As the awning goes out, it does have a little skirt at the end of the tube. It should come out and lay straight up and down. On the awning arms, on each one of them, there is a pinch point that you can pull down on to check the pitch of the unit. And then tighten up the little black knob here at the back. That puts the pitch of the ring coming off this corner here the same way with the front arm. When you get ready to run them back up, you're going to loosen the black knob up so it slides inside of itself. And then you got your LED lights up against the side of the trailer. As we come back into the trailer, there's 2 sets of keys. The purple key does the front door lock and deadbolt. The 751 key does all the inside compartments, outside compartments. We're going to go ahead and run that awning back in. If it's got very much rain outside or very much wind, it's good to put the awning back up. Right above the table, the light above it has to be turned on by hand. Got a little push button in the center of it. It is a fire escape window. Since it is a bedded area, 2 red handles lift up, hit on the center of the window so that it opens. Tabletop does come down, goes between the 2 benches. The 2 back cushions come over the top of the tabletop to make a smaller bed. There's 2 remotes for the trailer. The bigger one does the TV. I think on the auto scan it got 42 channels. But the last TV station's 80 miles away from here. Does have a pretty good picture on it. You have to do your auto scan to see what the channels it'll pick up wherever you're at. There is another remote in there somewhere. The little flat remote does the stereo. Turns it on and off. On the speakers, there is a zone 1 and zone 2. Zone 1 is inside, zone 2 is outside. It will play a DVD between the stereo and the TV if you hook an HDMI cord up to the front of the stereo and the S cord to the back of the TV. Does have a vent in the ceiling that has a black knurled knob to crank it up. No fan in the living room area. In the bathroom area, there's a light switch on the wall that turns the lights above us on. This one here is motion censored or on 24/7. Black knurled knob in the ceiling cranks the vent up. Little black button turns the fan on. You also have your GFI outlet in the bathroom that protects all the outlets in the trailer inside and out. Single foot flush on the right hand side of the toilet for flushing it. Push halfway down, fills with water, push all the way down, fills and dumps. In the bathroom area, the 4 screws comes out of this piece of paneling here. Accesses you into the back of the hot water heater and your water pump and bypass for the water pump. 2 valves set up on the back of the hot water heater. Both valves are pointed towards the tank, which allows cold water to come into the bottom, hot water to come out the top. And the valve on the water pump is turned into the position to where it was sucked from the tank to the faucets. When you get ready to winterize, they just turn the opposite way they are now. You do have an air conditioning vent coming into the bathroom, and you also have a heat vent coming into the bathroom to bring heat into the bathroom area. On the refrigerator, there's 2 settings on it, one at the top and one at the bottom. The one at the top stays where it says cold or colder. If you turn it to where it says colder, it keeps all the cold air in the top of the freezer. Doesn't let any come down to the bottom. So once it gets cold enough at the top, you have to turn it back towards the cold side of it. And then you'll use your push buttons underneath here for setting the temperature in the refrigerator. But if the thermostat in the freezer is stuck on colder, it won't let any cold air come down into the bottom. Once the door is shut, it does have a handle that comes over, holds it in place. Microwave, there is a clock button on it. Set the clock button, let's say it's 2:30. Hit the clock button again to the 2 center eyes is flashing. The only reason I set the time on the microwave is you can tell if the trailer's lost 110 power coming to it if it doesn't have the right time. We also have a light for the stovetop and a fan. Glass stovetop on the burners have to be lifted up 2 times up out of the way. Button on the right hand side turns the illumination lights on the valves. You'll turn it to where it says high light position using the striker on the left hand side to light. And it might take it a minute for the gas to get back here since we had the gas bottles turned off. Now we turned them back on. To turn it to where it says high light position, light all 3 burners up on top. On the oven, you can turn it to where it says pilot on. Push down on the button using the same striker on the left hand side to light the oven down below. If you have the button towards the bottom, it also gives you a light down in the oven area so that you can see what you're cooking. We'll turn that back over. We'll touch the griddle on top by hand to make sure that it's cold to the touch of the hand before you lay the tempered glass back over the top of that to give you more counter space. Breaker boxes down here at the bottom, and they are marked with your 30 amp main on the left hand side. Going to the right, exactly what they are. They're all on the lid here. Your car fuses is right down below that. Tells you the same thing, what the car fuses are, and it gives you a couple spots down at the bottom that's empty in case you wanted to add more 12-volt appliances to the trailer. We also have a working LP carbon monoxide detector down here at the bottom. Two different whistles on it. If it smells LP, it gives you one whistle that won't hardly quit. If it's carbon monoxide, it beeps 4 times, 2 times in a row. All the rest of the paperwork that was found in the trailer is in the green bag here. Light above the sink has to be turned on by hand. Has a little push button on it. Couch butterflies out into a bed. Has some storage underneath it. Butterflies out into a bed. Both the lights above that have to be turned on by hand. We're going to go ahead and crank the bed back up. Lift halfway up on it, pull on the back. We're going to come to the thermostat. We're going to turn it on. First thing it does is give you your span speed, auto, high, and low. We always run on the auto position. Hit the mode button one more time. It says cold. In the lower right hand corner, you'll dial your temperature down. Hit the mode button one more time. It says furnace in the left hand corner. Hit that mode button one more time. It should say off in the lower right hand corner. Each one of the appliances takes a minute for it to shut off. If the furnace is lit on propane, sometimes it can take and run from 5 to 7 minutes. Even with the air conditioner, sometimes it takes it about a minute before it shuts off because it's slinging the water off the top of the coils. Another place for a TV here, the master bedroom. Light switch on the wall turns the 2 lights at the foot of the bed on. The 2 at the head of the bed still have to be turned on by hand. You have a 110 outlet on either side of the bed and a USB port on either side of the bed. We also have the fire escape window that opens and gives breeze coming through. Push the red handle all the way through the window frame, accesses you out to the outside so that you can escape from the bedroom area if you can't get to the door. There is a pretty good size closet space on either side in a drawer, and there is some storage up underneath the bed. Pretty good size box for storage underneath there, extra pillows, blankets, things you don't want nobody to find. It does have a brown vent on the wall, bringing heat into the master bedroom area. Also has a round vent in the ceiling up here at the top that brings the cool air in, and a vent in the ceiling without a fan in it to bring moonlight in. That's basically everything on your trailer. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer the best that I can. Thank you.